Today I'm giving you the easy, effortless, quick men's makeup look. And this is all you need when you need to run out the door, you have no time, you just want to throw something on to make you look and feel better while enhancing your masculine features. We'll get right into it. I just wanted to say hi, I am Mattis. I used to be a makeup artist based in London. I used to work for incredible brands like Chanel, Dior, Hermes, as well as Charlotte Tilbury, and even got to model. So I know how male models are made up backstage to really emphasize their bone structure and features. I really want to share this knowledge with you so you can emphasize your own features and feel your best on a daily basis. So make sure you subscribe, say hi in the comments, get yourself a drink, and we'll begin. Starting with the bare face, I already prepared a makeup bag, and actually this is fairly small. It's a big bag, but if you fold it together, you can see there's not a lot inside. It's all about preparation. If your goal is to be really effortless and have it really easy on a day-to-day basis, thinking ahead and preparing is the key. So in here we have 6 products. You can also get away with 5 products if that's easier, but it's essentially 5 different categories that I will talk you through. And within those categories, you can choose which product suits you best. We're gonna start with Complexion, and I chose a BB cream. However, this can be any complexion product. It can be a tinted moisturizer, it can be a concealer. It really depends on your personal skin. Now, a BB cream, which is pretty much the same thing as a tinted moisturizer, CC cream, all those light coverage products that give you a bit of an evening out effect to the skin while looking really natural. A product like this is for you if you don't need a lot of coverage. If you just need a little bit of evening out, you might have some redness like myself in the center of the face, you might have some discolorations, but you don't have major skin issues that you want to cover. In case you do have acne, spots or discolorations that you want to cover, a concealer might be better for you. And actually often I choose a spot concealer just to quickly cover any little spots and marks I have and then move on. And that's also a really effortless way to do your makeup on a daily basis. But for today, I feel like my skin is in fairly good shape and I can get away with just smoothing over a little bit of coverage and protection in the shape of a BB cream. Now, this specific one from Dr. Jart has the additional benefit of having an SPF. It's even an SPF 50, so that's great. I still recommend on a daily basis to use your SPF underneath because you would have to layer quite a bit of this on, and by that point you would have so much coverage on the face that it wouldn't look that natural anymore. I'm gonna zoom you in so you can really see how it looks on the face. So I have to say the color is a little bit bizarre. It's sort of almost like an olive gray tone. I mean, it's not bizarre. Some people have that skin tone, but for me, this color is a little bit strange. I was really unsure if it's the right color for me. And I think in the warmer months, I would definitely go for a deeper, warmer shade. But actually, once I smooth it into the skin, it really melts and it doesn't have a high coverage at all. So it actually kind of works for me. When it comes to concealers and high coverage products, you really want to match your skin color exactly. But when it comes to BB cream or a very low coverage product, you can still get away with a slightly off color. So I'm literally just smoothing that into the skin, almost like a moisturizer. You really want to focus it where you have most of your redness. For me, that's in the center of my face. You might have some discoloration around the mouth, for example, or where you shave. And that's really where most of the coverage should go. Also, you can pretty much leave out the spots where you don't have any discolorations or unevenness. For example, my forehead, it's pretty even. I don't really need to cover anything, so I'm not really gonna focus any product there. If you have under eye darkness, you can also use a little bit of the product there. But again, it won't really cover any major dark circles. So if you have that and you want to get rid of that, I would use a color corrector or a concealer that's very light in coverage. But that's for another video. This look is all about just really naturally enhancing and not really covering up too much. What I love most about this product, besides the SPF, is its really natural finish. It hydrates the skin, but it's really balanced. It's not too shiny, but not too matte either. Now, I'm still working on a skin tint tinted moisturizer sort of video for you and testing and trying different ones by different brands. But this one, if you can't find your color, because, K-beauty brands traditionally have really bad shade ranges, and this one literally only comes in like 5 colors. But if you can find your match, I think you will really enjoy it. If your skin is sort of combination to slightly dry or slightly oily leaning, I think this is a great one. Moving on to the next step, and now we want to bring back some definition and color to our face. And for this, we're going to use a bronzer / contour. Now, I always talk about contour because it's just one of those steps that I find most enhancing for masculine features. And personally, if I have the time, I will still contour on a daily basis. But because this look is all about low effort, low maintenance, quick running out the door, I would combine the bronzing and contour step into one. And for that, I'm going to use the Say Liquid Bronzer in the color Salt. This color leans really neutral on me. It's right in between cool and warm. And therefore I can use it as a bronzer and contour sort of in one. Now it's not gonna give you those really harsh, intense shadows like a contour can. You know, an actual contour will always be more cool tones. So I swatched the contour here for you. So it's a lot cooler and more gray leaning, whereas this has a lot more warmth to it compared. And this is the one we will use today, just for ease and because we don't really need those really dramatic shadows on a daily basis. However, if you don't really care about definition at all and you just want to bring some warmth to your skin, you could go for a cream bronzer like this Makeup by Marion that I got really recently. This is a sort of balmy consistency and it's literally the most easy bronzer that I've ever used. It applies really sheerly, so you can just buff it in with your fingers, bringing some subtle warmth and glow to your skin. This bronzer is so sheer and natural, it's literally foolproof in my opinion. I'm so happy to do a really in-depth video about contour and bronzer, but today I want to keep it fairly easy to understand and quick, so let's just get straight into application. Like I said, I'm using the Say one because it's sort of a cross between a bronzer and a contour, and I still want some definition because over Christmas and New Year's, I've been eating all the candies, all the sweets, everything my heart desired. So I feel like a little bit of definition will be really good. I just wiped away the bronzer with a tissue, by the way. And I'm gonna place a dot right below my cheekbone, but very high up, because remember, it's not really all about the bone structure in this case. We also want to bring some color. So we're gonna blend this with our fingers, just like dabbing it in and bringing it up onto the temple. Gonna add a hint more because I just want a little bit more color. But again, it's really foolproof. It's so easy to blend. You can of course use sponges, brushes, etc. But because we want to keep it really easy, we're just gonna dab it in with the fingers really quickly. Again, I'm gonna zoom you in so you can really see it up close. But essentially, I didn't go too low with the bronzer. I sort of looked where my cheekbone is, right here, and I didn't bring the contour below that point. We want to keep that color high up on the cheekbone and sort of lift up everything. It melts in so easily. You also want to make sure that you don't go too far into this area here around the nose, because it will just end up looking a bit muddy. Gonna apply a few dots over on this cheek and then again smooth it out with the fingers. Now I definitely have a few spots and discolorations shining through, but that really is what makes the skin look like skin and not too made up and makeup-y. Now something I always do and I pretty much never leave the house without is a little bit of contouring around the eyes. I always like to emphasize the bone structure around the eyes. You can do that with an eyeshadow, but you can also do it with a contour, a bronzer, anything like that. This is going to really deepen the brow ridge and make your eyes look more deep set. If your eyes are already really deep set or quite close together, you can skip this step. Personally, I also like to take a little bit down the side of the nose for a really quick and easy nose contour. Literally only takes 2 seconds and it just adds a little bit definition to the whole nose and eye area. Now at this point, if you're looking a little bit shiny, you want to use a powder. Now the one I've been raving about for months now is the Makeup Forever Translucent Loose Powder. These sort of loose powders that are also translucent just look incredibly natural on the skin. Whereas a lot of colored powders can add coverage to your skin and just look a little bit more unnatural. These, however, also come in pressed versions, so you don't need to faff around with a loose powder if you don't want to. Now for this step, we will need a brush or a powder puff, and I just picked up the smallest amount and I go right into the center of the face. I like to really almost press it into the skin. This is great, especially if you have oily skin. Really sort of dabbing it on and pressing it into the skin will just really make everything look airbrushed while keeping the natural look. You also want to use this around the eyes if they get a bit oily, just to take back any shine, and anywhere you know you get greasy and shiny throughout the day. I want to hear your thoughts on the skin because I think it looks so natural, but at the same time, just has a little bit of polish to it. Now you can totally leave it like this and you'd be good to go. You have a great everyday easy look with a little bit of warmth to the skin, a very subtle definition. But if you're like me and you feel quite pale on a daily basis, you just don't feel quite complete without a little bit more color in your cheeks, I recommend you use a blush. Now this has been such a favorite of mine for the last few months. I've been teasing it in a video before and it's the MAC Glow Play blush in the color Blush Please. It has a really fascinating consistency, almost like a dough that you can push around into the pan. But what is so great about this particular formula is how easy it is to apply. It really is the most easy to use, effortless blush I have been using in years. And you know, I've tried countless blushes in my lifetime. You want to pick up a small amount with your finger and then just lightly dab it onto your cheek. It will immediately blend and melt in and give you that subtle color to your cheek, almost like you've been going for a run. You just went to the gym and you just have that flush. You can see how that literally blended in seconds and just brought this warmth to my skin that it didn't have before. Now this particular color is great for you if you have light to lightly medium skin, but MAC really has so many colors in this formula, so there will be something for everyone. You can then use the excess just down the bridge of your nose to make it look like you've caught some sun, and you know, it will just make everything look even more seamless and natural. Now again, you might not need the next step, but I will use a brow gel next. This is one of my favorite brow gels I've tried in a while. It's by Urban Decay and it's called Big Bush Brow Gel. And I talked about this so many times, but essentially it does a bit of everything. Again, zooming you in, but it brings a little bit of color. It adds volume. It keeps the brow hairs in place, but all of that while looking really, really natural and effortless. Now I like to really focus it on here where I have very sparse brows from shaving them off in the past. It's also great if you have any blonde or gray hairs in between your brows or any gaps. And you know, for every day, it's just more easy to use than an actual brow pen. A little trick as well, if you got some powder into your lashes, you can take a little bit of this, almost like a mascara, and just lightly tint your eyelashes. It will just remove that powdery look on your eyelashes. Please do this at your own risk because it's made for the eyebrows and not necessarily the eyes. The great thing about it is though that it will never look like actual mascara. It will just look like your lashes are naturally darker. Now the skin is done, the brows are done. There's just one step missing, and that is something on the lips. Now again, you don't need anything on the lips. Personally, my lips are a little bit uneven. They sometimes get a little bit pale around the edges. They sometimes get a bit too red where I've bitten them, and they're very often dry. So if you have any of those issues and you just slightly want to even them out and give them a bit of hydration, I recommend you use a tinted lip balm like this Labello one that has a little bit of a peachy tint that still looks really, really natural. Or for a luxury option, I recently got this beautiful Chanel Rouge Coco Flash in a really beautiful natural nude color that again just goes on, gives you a little bit of evening out to the lips and gives a little bit of hydration as well. I used the color Destination, which is this sort of light rosy nude. And you can see how natural it looks on the lips. I'm actually collecting tinted lip balms. I love those very natural nudie shades. So if you would like me to do a video on that, please let me know. And that is the complete look. And of course, I've talked you through it, but if I did this on a daily basis, I would do this within 5 minutes. Please really tailor this to yourself and your skin's needs. For all your questions, I'm always there in the comment section. All your product suggestions, I'm always happy to hear. And yeah, that's the full look. All we used was a tinted moisturizer slash BB cream, bronzer slash contour, a loose translucent powder, a little bit of cream blush, as well as a brow gel, and a tinted lip balm. And this is all you need. I mean, you don't even need this much. Just use as much as you want, as makes you feel good. This is of course my routine. I am extra. I often use much more than this, but you know, it just makes me feel good. I love the application process. I personally do my makeup multiple times a day sometimes because, you know, I film videos. I often reapply my sunscreen. So, you know, I am someone who does use this stuff a lot. And I completely understand if you're not that type of person, if you just want something very effortless. I mean, if you wanted to, you can literally cut this down into 3 steps. If you literally want just the bare minimum, I would just use a coverage product like a BB cream and then decide if you want to add some color and a flush with a blush or go the bronzer or contour route instead. The products I used in this routine are also more on the high-end side, but like I said, if enough people want it, I'm so happy to talk about some drugstore products as well. I already selected some of my favorites and actually standing over there looking at me, so this might be something that's coming soon. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and ring that bell, and I'll see you next time. Bisous bisous, yours truly.